Thanks to Donald Trump's executive order allowing me to speak more freely on social media, it has given me the ability to speak more freely on things like white civil rights. Now, what do I mean by white civil rights? What people don't understand, and this is what white people should have done back in 2015, I think is when I started talking about this, not on this forum, but on other forums like LinkedIn. It gives these riots give white Americans the ability to show the systemic and institutionalized racism against white Americans with things like affirmative action, which make us basically unable to get proper educations, unable to get proper jobs because there's prejudice in hiring. And this is the law in the United States. This is the law, that it is the law to discriminate against white Americans, to discriminate against them in hiring, promotion, and education. So, and to give special preference to their competition, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, what have you. And this isn't fair. This is not fair. Okay, and this has caused the white middle class to shrink drastically. And what needs to be understood is white civil rights does not need to be violent. It does not have to promote the oppression of other people. What it needs to do is promote equality. It needs to promote the idea that just because white people succeed doesn't mean that other people can't, because that's the idea of affirmative action. Affirmative action and these other programs, they aim to keep down the white man in order to lift up everybody else, but that doesn't have to be that way. Other people can be successful if they're held to higher standards. And that's the problem with it. There might not be as high a number that's as successful as white people, but also white people don't have the same access to social programs to lift them up. There's a lot of inherent racism against white people in the U.S. system. And people, I'm saying whatever the hell I want on Facebook, so people are trying to make fun of me, say, "Oh, you have white guilt. You sound like whatever, a pathetic idiot." No, the thing is, what people that are from foreign countries don't understand is the racism against white Americans is real. And if white Americans don't stand up against it and speak out against it, we will be getting murdered in the streets like in South Africa, and like some people are in these riots where blacks are murdering white people in the streets of the United States. And in Haiti, everybody knows the story of Haiti, where the Haitians killed every white and mulatto in Haiti after they took over the country from the French. My point is, and I'm going to leave links about, affirmative action and blah, 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 because I know everybody's interested in that. But there is real racism. I'm also going to leave links to the white people that are murdered by police, okay? And that's murder. That's not this bullshit where somebody's resisting arrest and they happen to die. This is stone cold murder in these cases, and I will show that. One is an autistic 6-year-old boy that was shot so many times he was unrecognizable by 2 black police officers in Louisiana. No white people rioted over that. No white people called for them to be, we need justice, we need them to get this, and we need them to be convicted even if they're not guilty. And that's what's so crazy about this, is what's going on is our government, we have been betrayed by our president, by our military, and by our police forces to savages that are demanding mob justice, that want the justice system overthrown and want these police officers in Minneapolis to be hung, basically, without any real trial. They just want them found guilty without a real trial. The problem is, this is it too. They basically said that these dudes murdered the guy. Well, the problem with that is you have to show intent. That was a bad charge. If I was the prosecutor, I would have sought to charge them with manslaughter, which is something that might stick. But because these cops were charged with murder in the 3rd degree, you have to show intent. And if you can't show intent, the person is going to get away with it. Okay? So what happens? What's going to happen when these cops are found innocent? Is there going to be more riots? More burning of America's cities to the ground? What's going to happen then? But my point is that the systemic and institutionalized racism against white Americans needs to stop, and white Americans need to speak up louder than Black Lives Matter, louder than the communists, louder than the Democratic Party, and we need to make it known that we refuse to become, which we already are, but we refuse to continue to be second-class citizens in the republic that our ancestors created.